Good afternoon, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's edition of Real Talk with Papa Martins. On the live show today, we have a guest that is joining us all the way from Kakamega. You are all welcome. Please, I will request you like this broadcast and make a comment or two and kindly engage with me as we progress with the show. I'll be looking forward to hear from you. Welcome. Remember, this is Real Talk with Papa Martins. And today on the show, we have a guest all the way from Kakamega who will be joining me live on today's show. Thank you. As I wait for my guest, I want to welcome every one of you to the broadcast today. This is Real Talk with Papa Martins. On today's live show, we have a guest all the way from Kakamega. As we wait for our guest to join me in the studio, you are all welcome. Today we are going to be discussing life matters as it concerns our guest, and we will listen to his story, and we might be able to learn one or two things from him. Welcome to today's show. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, great, great. You're welcome to Real Talk with Papa Martins.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Oh, that's amazing. So good to
Yes.
see you. Thank you for joining in the show.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome everybody to Real Talk with Papa Martins. On today's live broadcast, we have a guest all the way from Kakamega. He has joined and we will just take off the show. Thank you everyone. You can engage with me on chat. You can leave a comment. Let me know where you are watching us from and let me know if you can hear us live and direct, if the sound is clear enough and if the voice is loud enough. Thank you. Our guest is in the studio already, all the way from Kakamega. Yes, welcome our guest once again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
As we start the show today, I will want you to please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay. Hello, viewers. My name is Chitiavi Denis. Born and raised in Kakamega, and that is where I was born. That is where I was raised. That is where I went to school until when I joined college. That is when I came out of Kakamega. But that is simply my name, Chitiavi Denis, born and raised in Kakamega County.
Amazing. So right now you are in Kakamega?
Yes, right now I'm in Kakamega.
That's amazing. Kindly, can you take us through the journey of your childhood, family life, and probably how you went to school?
Okay, thank you. Uh, Growing up, I grew up just like a normal child out there. As I already told you, I grew up in Kakamega, right in the village. I grew up in the village actually, doing all kinds of things that the village kids do. Going to the, going for long distances to the shop, rearing cattle, taking care of the sheep and cattle for my grandmother and father, and later on my father's animals. So life in the village was actually great and exciting, and it was such a great experience that I actually missed so much. So as I said, I was born and raised in Kakamega in the year 1990. That is when I was born, and mm, starting school, I started school, and that is also in during primary education. That was in Kakamega also, and the school life was actually fun. It was awesome actually, and I really growing up. Looking back, I actually thank God for actually every stage of my life because they were actually ordered. I always believe that they're actually ordered by God. Even my studies, if God did not intervene, actually, I wouldn't have studied up to this far because uh, just one morning when I was playing around, used to live with my mom. One morning, just a stranger comes and says, "You know what? This man has," and my mom tells me, "You know what? This man has come and he's taking you away." And I'm like, "Hey, what is happening?" And actually, that was my dad who had come to take me away. And actually, they had separated, and he had come to take me away. And I usually look back and say that if my if my dad had not come at that particular moment when I was still young, when I was still at that ripe age of starting school, actually my studies would have been very difficult. But although it had a price attached to it actually, because being separated from my mom was actually a very hard thing to handle all those years, and I was gone when I was still young, and I never saw her again actually until when I became an adult and took my own initiative to go and find her. That is when we met again at a later stage in life. That was such a painful part, but when I look back, I usually say that if I had not moved, actually my academics would have suffered. I would not have come this far as education is concerned. So my studies were actually great. I really enjoyed my studies until class 8. I did class 8 at Kakamega Primary School and scored, it was 348 marks. And I joined St. Ignatius Mukumu Boys from Form 1 to Form 4. And after that, that is when I moved to Nairobi to college life. That is when I studied ICT and later on took another 1 year to study, to specialize now in education, where I could now start teaching ICT and computer studies. So
Mm.
that is how my education was. That was how my journey was.
Wow, amazing. Now, you did say your parents were separated,
Yes,
and on a certain day, a stranger appeared in your house, and your mom
yes,
said you are going with this man.
yes.
So, meaning before that day, you've never heard much about your father, who he was, where he was, what
No,
he's
no, no,
like.
no, 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 no.
Okay.
I was around 6 years,
Mm,
so I had not heard much about those stories.
mm.
Yeah,
So you never asked your mom about who is dad, where is dad? You were just growing with your mom and your grandparents.
yeah. I was just okay playing around with the kids, just
Mm,
uh, just going on with normal life as usual. So
okay.
I didn't ask any questions actually, because actually I think my mom had remarried, so I thought this is what it is. So I didn't ask any question.
Okay. So your mom being remarried, you lived with your stepfather.
Yes, for those. for those few years.
So how was life during that time? You said you walk long distances to go get water, probably
Yes,
firewood, and to
yes,
grass the cattle.
yes.
How was life? How was it like?
It was fun actually. It was very fun because during those long walks and taking care of the kettles, we used to do crazy things. We used to play very crazy games. So we didn't care much about what is out there because actually you are not exposed to the outside world. So you just know that this is what life has to offer. So we were just enjoying. We were just enjoying the life and taking one day at a time.
Hmm.
So
Taking
actually, it
one
is
day at
really
a
fun.
time. Taking
Yes.
one day at a time. So, going by what you are saying,
Mm.
you never imagined you getting out of that vicinity. You thought life begins and ends in that village at that time.
No, no, no. My mind hasn't had never thought about anywhere beyond that until
All
when my dad came now and he took me to now Kakamega town. You know, he used to live in Kakamega town. Now that is when now your mind is starting to open up to other new places. You are now
Hmm.
actually traveling for the first time. You are now going to visit new places for the first time, and now you are now meeting new people for the first time. That is when now your mind is starting to open up to new ideas and new places.
Wow.
Yes.
So, if your dad hadn't come for you, you probably have remained in that setting, thinking that is all life is about.
Yes, actually.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mm.
So you consider that being the act of God.
Yes. Despite the fact that I was so angry that my mom was never a part of my life for those years. But I came now to look back and I thought about life, what I've been through, and even looking back at those brothers and sisters who remained with my mom, comparing, the level of education, and comparing everything. Despite the fact that it was painful living, but there was actually something good that came out of that hard, difficult, heartbreaking situation. There's something good that came out of
Wow. At the time your dad came for you, he
it.
said you
Yes.
were 6 years old.
Yes.
So how was it, that transition from being with a familiar person, your mom, your grandparents, your sibling, your stepfather, and going all the way from the village to a town with
Yes.
a total stranger, with new set of people, new set of environment, new order of activities and things. How did you transit? How difficult or easy was that for you? What were
It
the
was
challenges?
actually
Yeah.
it was actually very difficult for that transition, and actually it took a very long time for me to actually now realize that this is it. This is your family, and now to live with this because it was something like a shock, almost immediately, without being consulted or without being prepared. You are moving. And actually, I in my mind at that young age, I thought I'm just going on another trip and I will be back home to my mom. I thought this is just another visiting, another ugeni. I'm just going to visit this place and I will be back to my mom and I will tell her all things. I will report to her just like the kids you report to their mom. This is what happened. This person did this to me. So actually, that immediate transition, I actually shut down. Actually,
Mm.
I went. It's like I went mute. I have met strangers, so I went mute. I became this silent boy who never talks much. And actually, that thing stuck until now. Until now, I'm usually too silent. I'm usually very silent. So I became silent in the sense that I used to speak only when I'm asked a question, and after answering that question, I go back to my silent mode. So that actually I was afraid even to express myself, afraid even to defend myself because these are strangers. I don't know them. Should I trust them? Can I trust them? So I kept so much to myself. So actually, I grew up a silent boy. I grew up a boy who is so afraid, who is preserved, not talking much. But in real sense, I was not that quiet. I believe I was not born to be that quiet, but that is how I grew up, and that really stuck until now. Actually, when I meet new people, I usually don't talk much. I'm usually very silent, just trying to study them. How do I approach this new person? Does he like this? Does he like that? So that one actually affected me because even when I was in high school, I was even afraid of just standing before people and say a thing, maybe recite something or answer a question or even sing a song. I knew I could sing, but that fear made me not to participate even in any activities matters during music festivals, music competition. I wasted all my years in school never participating in all these competitions, showcasing my talent because of that fear, because of that transition. Actually, it came very abruptly. I was not prepared, just a kid, hoping that one day this visit will end and I will go back to my mom. And this visit never ended. So it was actually a very difficult transition for me.
I can understand. It became traumatic. It was a traumatic experience for you.
Yes, yes, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and being very young,
Yes.
it's really a difficult one. So you
Yes, you're
totally
young.
shut down. So did that affect your education in any way in the primary school?
No, no, my education was actually okay. With interacting with other kids in school was actually very fun. I didn't have a problem with that actually. I was just a good student back at school. So in school I was really active when just on the playground playing, interacting with other kids. But now coming to the part now that you are alone before people, you stand before people and speak to them. That was a very difficult thing for me. But matters academics, I was an average student, no difficulties as such. But just coming back home, that is when the silent mode switches in. But when in school, very active.
This is Real Talk with Papa Martins. Our guest is from Kakamega. Denis is an IT trainer and a computer teacher. And today we are listening to his story. I hope you can learn one or two things about his life and apply it to yours. One thing that is coming very strongly for me from his testimony so far is that we should be careful how we handle our children. We should not do things abruptly that could affect their life. He's been so fortunate that he had God with him during that transition, that this sudden relocation with a total stranger that he has never met or heard about did not destroy his destiny. And he believed that was an act of God. And we thank God for his life. So if you are just joining in, this is Real Talk with Papa Martins. And with me in the studio, all the way from Kakamega, is Denis, whom we are learning from his life experience. I wanted to ask you, so after primary school, so how did you make the choice of the high school that you went to?
Uh, you know, uh, During registration, you know, when these students are being registered to, maybe to choose their choices. We had very many choices to choose from, and so I did it. It was like with the help of the teacher, we chose some schools, you know, and the teacher would advise and look at your grades, your marks, and actually advise that you can actually do well here. So these are the schools. So there were actually several schools to choose from. That was during registration. But when now, after the results, only one letter came. Only one single letter came, a letter for invitation to high school. So I didn't have many options to choose from. It was actually just one single letter from St. Ignatius Mukumu Boys, that is also in Kakamega. That is the only letter that came. So I didn't have very many options to choose from.
Okay. So,
Yes.
being picked up by your father, whom you've never met.
Yes.
So, if you look back today, so
Yes.
what is your relationship with him? How does it look like?
Right now, the relationship with him, right now, it's very okay. We are doing fine. Although just the normal ups and downs, you disagree on issue. So the more you grow up, the more you now start now taking your own path, and actually, uh, as a normal parent who is so used to actually telling you to do this, advising you to do this, go here, come back, go there. So as a normal parent, when a child now starts growing up, now he is now making his own choices. He wants to take maybe a different path from what you thought. So there are always those wrangles and disagreements, but generally that is normal, but generally that it is good.
Okay. Did you ever ask him why he left you without looking back? Did you ever talk about that?
Ask
Your father. Because he just came one day, all of a sudden, this is your
mhm.
father, and he's coming for you. So when you grew up, maybe you became a teenager or a youth before you became a man. Have you ever talked about what happened?
No, I've never had a chance to just sit with him, or even ask my mom what happened. So the stories in the past. Actually, that chance I've never gotten that courage to ask. Just as I told you, I grew up that quiet and that afraid. So that question has never come up actually until now.
This fear you are talking about, was it there when you were with your mom, or it developed after your father had picked you up?
It developed after,
Hmm.
yes, after
Okay.
the transition.
So you left your mom at the age of 6. At what age exactly did you meet with her?
I think it was after I was through with college.
Oh,
After I was through with college, I remember I was in Nairobi, and I was in. It was on a Saturday actually. I was cleaning the church actually, cleaning the church in Nairobi and arranging the chairs in preparation for tomorrow's service. And then just mm, my brother calls now, the son to my mom actually. He calls and says that also this brother I had never met also, but he calls and say that a stranger gave me your number. I've been looking for your number for a very long time, and I met a stranger somewhere in a funeral somewhere, and this stranger gave me your number, and actually I'm glad to hear from you. So I will make arrangements so that I can connect you to mom. And that is just like that. That is how it happens. It happened actually.
so was it that your father never allowed you to go see your mom, or you never thought of going, or you didn't know how to find your way to her?
I never talked about it. I never asked a question about it. It was just something, some rage inside just building up, wondering why no one is talking about this. And in as much as I'm wondering why no one is talking about this, also myself, I'm not taking that initiative to also ask about this. So no one talked about it. I didn't ask.
Okay. So was there at any time that you were angry at your mom for letting you go?
Never.
So
I
the
never.
you were never angry with her
I was never angry with her. I
or
was
at her?
actually. I was angry at my dad for never talking about it actually,
Okay.
but never at her.
All right. So your stepmom, probably you had one.
Yes,
How
until
was your
now.
How okay, you still have her. How was your
We are
relationship
still.
with her?
Uh, my relationship with her, very okay,
Okay.
very okay. But actually, just as a child, at the part of disciplining, you know, she was actually doing the discipline just like any other mom could discipline. But I think as a child, I thought, uh, I thought that was any normal child who will be disciplined by someone who is not your mom or your parent, you will think it is unfair. But now I'm grown up, I think she was just doing like what any other parent would do. But the general relationship, it was very okay until now. We are still good. We are still fine.
Wow, that's amazing. So
Yes.
now you have siblings from your stepmom and
Mhm.
from your mom.
Yes.
So what is your relationship like? Are you guys together as one? Do you
Yeah.
meet regularly? Yeah.
The siblings from my dad's side, I have four sisters. I'm actually the only son to my dad and the firstborn. So I have four sisters from my father's side, and actually we are good. We are very close, very tight. Actually, it is the relationship between us is it is so close and so great. I enjoy being with them. And also on my mother's side, we talk a lot on the phone. We talk a lot. We meet on several occasions. We meet actually. So the two actually, I can't say that we are very far apart. We are very close. Yes.
Okay, that's amazing. When you look at all these experiences you have gone through and where you are today, can you explain to our viewers how this has impacted your life? What lessons have you learned? In which way has it molded your character? What focus has this given to you?
So actually, throughout all these experiences, I've actually learned that God will never allow conception to happen or to take place unless He's He's desiring to meet a need in this world. Mm. It doesn't matter who is your mom, who is your dad. It doesn't matter. Actually, the purpose that He wants to fulfill through you, you are being born for a reason. It doesn't matter out of wedlock. It doesn't matter you are a son of a prostitute or a son of a drunkard. I thank God all my parents, they brought me up in a church setting. So I really thank God because that has actually laid a very great foundation in my life, and I thank God for that I was born and raised into a family that is Christian. But I know there are people out there who are the nature of how they came to be, mm, is actually questionable, and they are wondering why, how, wondering maybe if I was born in that other family. But God will always find a way. God will always find a way of bringing you up in a way that that he really wants you to affect this world. Otherwise, he would not have allowed that conception to take place in the first place. You would never have been conceived if he had no plan for you. I believe God had plans for me, and I was born, and every stage of my life was taking place according to his will. In as much as I didn't like it, in as much as I didn't like moving away from my mom and actually growing up somewhere else, but it was actually God's plan that I grow up there, that I go through this education, just like Moses grew up in Pharaoh's house. That was not their own home, but God had a plan that this Moses should learn some administrative skills. You have to live with a king to be able to learn how to lead people. God knew Moses was going to lead people in the near future. So he had to grow up close to a king, close to Pharaoh, so that he can learn. And after those learning was over, he had to take off and go now take care of sheep and cattle. And we all know those who have taken care of sheep and cattle, they are very stubborn, especially sheep. They are very stubborn and you can run around the whole day. And Moses was taking a lot of care of a lot of them. So this one was just preparing him. So I believe God was just preparing me for something great, something greater that has not yet been revealed until now. All the stages of my life, whether I liked them or not, every stage mattered because God was just training his soldiers. And God takes his best soldiers into very vigorous training to make them ready.
Wow, great insight. If you are just joining the show today, this is Real Talk with Papa Martins, and our guest is Denis, all the way from Kakamega. We are streaming live together on Facebook through StreamYard. The story of his life is what we've been tackling for the last 32 minutes, going to 33. This was a young man who grew up with a mom and his stepfather and grandparents. When he was 6 years old, one day, suddenly, a stranger appeared in their home, and the mom told him, "You are going away with this stranger." And this stranger happened to be his biological father. He has never heard about him, he never knew about him, he was not told the man was coming for him. Lo and behold, the man appeared, and the mom said, "You are going with a stranger." And that singular act has formed the process of his life journey, and by the grace of the Lord of heaven, he is who he is today because of that experience. So, welcome to the show. We are almost wrapping it up. So, I wanted to know, how did you come about the choice of your course of study in college? Today, you are an ICT expert. What informed your decision to become an expert in ICT?
Uh, that one actually, I never knew I would be an ICT expert. And to be honest, I found I just found myself in ICT out of sheer should I say out of sheer luck or out of coincidence or what? Because I found myself in ICT because I was running away from something else. Mm. Because I was running away from something else. It's right from the beginning. I knew I wanted to be a lawyer somewhere, to study law and do that in that line of duty as a lawyer. But I found myself there running away from something else because my dad had suggested another course that I didn't like, and we argued for a very long time, and I remained adamant I didn't go for that course, and because the pressure was too much, and I just applied for this course ICT, and actually I went, and he thought actually because he wanted me to do a P1 course, that is a primary school teacher, and I didn't like it, and I applied instead ICT, and I went to by then it was called Kenya Technical Teachers College, KTTC, Kenya Technical Teachers College. So I think my dad saw teachers college and thought I actually went for that course that he chose for me, but I was actually doing ICT in that technical teachers college. So I didn't know that I would land into ICT or later on, because after doing completing the ICT course, I came back home, did some few contract jobs here and there that were not so good, not so satisfying. That is when, after around 4 years, that is when I went back to school, now to specialize, a 1 year course, now to study to become a teacher. That is when I became a teacher of ICT, computer studies, and also physical education. So uh, the Teacher Service Commission has registered me to teach ICT, computer studies, and PE, physical education. So that is how I came up to be a teacher.
So your father wanted you to do P1 education.
Yes,
You didn't want it.
I didn't want.
You want to be a lawyer,
Yes,
but you enrolled for an ICT course in a technical college.
yes,
And then you came out of it after 4 years, you went back and you became a teacher. So what
yes.
happened?
I just realized now. You know, you know. The thing is, there is a quote that says, "When purpose is not discovered, focus is lost. When purpose is not discovered, focus is lost." Now you are just running away. You are running away from your purpose, because
Mm,
every time, even when I could be given a chance, maybe to speak in church, maybe you are given 1 hour to teach in church. You are given 15 minutes to teach in a fellowship, or
mm,
you are just given a few minutes to talk to people, and after that, people are telling you, by the way, you are a good teacher. Hmm? By the way you speak, the way you taught last Sunday, that 1 hour you taught, you are a good teacher. Hmm? I don't understand why you are running away from teaching, and yet you are just a good teacher. You are this good teacher. So God can use many ways to actually align you with the purpose that he has put inside of you. So if you have not discovered your purpose, just like me, you will keep on running away from the purpose, and you will keep on, the focus will be lost, and in the end of at the end of the road, you'll just come back to that very purpose that you were meant actually to do, because it will just show, and he will use even people around you, leaders in church, eh, your parents. He will use a lot of people to tell you directly that actually you are a good teacher, you are a good apostle, you are a good eh, evangelist. Why are you running away from it? It is evident.
mm. Thank you. When purpose is not discovered, focus is lost. Viewers, let's take note of that. When purpose is not discovered, focus is lost. And finally, what are the challenges that comes with your line of work? Being a Christian and living in this world where we live, what are the challenges that comes with your work? Handling the student, being a Christian, maintaining discipline, and also being fair, and also keeping up with your faith.
Actually, being a teacher actually open up a lot of avenue for you to practice your faith, because you are interacting with the young fellas, with the youth. Most of your time you are interacting with these young fellas, so it gives you I feel it gives me the opportunity actually to mentor them. You just get that fulfillment, you feel fulfilled. You have interacted with these young ones, you have impacted their lives, you have added some value to their lives. So actually, when you talk about faith, eh, faith is what one believes, mm, from in their inmost being, and learning is the intellectual activity, mm, the use of one's mind. and integrating the two. That is the challenge now. You want to integrate faith and learning so that you don't appear to be, maybe you have brought church in school, you have abandoned your duties, and now you have brought church in school. So integrating the two is actually a challenge, one challenge. And another challenge about this career is that even in James 3:1, it says that many of you, we know this verse, many of you should not desire to be teachers, because teachers will actually be judged harshly. Many of you should not be desire to be teachers, because teachers will be judged harshly, because a teacher has been given a very great responsibility, be it a teacher in church, be it a teacher in school, in a school setting. He has a very great responsibility. You are not handling machines. You are handling people's children. You are handling people's souls. You are teaching them. You are preparing. You are actually modeling their future. So actually, any mistake you make, any word, any wrong word you say, and this student drops out of school, any wrong because of a wrong word you said, because you bullied this student, he drops out of school, because you mishandled this student. So that is a great responsibility that God is watching. So it's actually a challenge, remembering that verse, that I'm in a position that actually God is watching closely how I handle those students. I will be judged. That is a very great challenge, to measure my words, to measure my actions, to weigh and actually be able to realize that actually I'm handling a future, I'm preparing a future. Where actually my dad advised us recently when I went I went to introduce my fiance to him, who is also a teacher, and my dad was advising us, eh, you teachers, be very careful with your words. Don't be so quick to curse a student, no matter how stubborn they are, because your words, they carry weight. They carry a lot of weight, and they might stick. And he gave us a lot of examples of people who were cursed by teachers, and the words actually, they stuck. So that is a very great challenge. And also another challenge about this career is understanding the different learning challenges of each student. What works with one student doesn't work with another student. So actually being able to understand that this particular student needs this and this particular student needs this, it is actually very difficult. Also, another challenge we face as teachers is the the home, the problems that are back at home spilling over to school, and actually family problems are now starting to affect this student, and it is your responsibility to actually to be able to find out that actually this is a family problem. It is not that this student is stupid, but this is a family problem. So that that is a very big challenge, to find out that, to diagnose that this is a family challenge, let me handle it this way. This is an academic challenge, let me help this way. So that is also a very big challenge. And also
Wow.
this another challenge, uh, maybe handling too many masters. We have parents, students, the school administrators, all of them, they want to be pleased. You want to balance. All of them have their own pressure. So being able to please all of these ones as a teacher is very difficult, because you are not in a company where you are just pleasing one master. You are serving one master, but you are serving these different masters to be able to satisfy them and meet their needs. So there are so many challenges that we actually go through, but maybe just those few that we could go through, maybe because of time.
All right. So, can you say you are finding fulfillment in what you do?
Yes, very much. And I'm really being fulfilled, actually being in touch with these young people and interacting with them, and actually being able just to listen to them. This young guy trusting you so much to be able to come to approach you and tell you their challenges and you are actually be able to help them walk through the challenges, it is actually satisfying and fulfilling. Something I didn't know, something I didn't know that this career would be this fulfilling. But during those running away and being caught up in this career, I find that it is actually really fulfilling and I'm very happy doing this.
Wow. Before I let you go, what advice can you
Yes.
give to our viewers who are parents or prospective parents concerning raising their children, particularly when it comes to education?
Wow. Raising children. Sorry, my microphone fell off. Raising children in this world that has changed so much, we also need also to change our parenting tactics, because right now children are so informed. Children have mobile phones, they are on social media. So actually parenting in this age and time, it is actually a great challenge. We also, even as parents, they also need to be informed and actually up their game. We cannot raise children the way, for example, they cannot raise their children the way they were raised in their generation. This is a new, different generation, and these children are growing up very fast and they are making a lot of decisions. So actually be there for your children, because any slight any slight change, even in at family level, we interact with students who have challenges back at home and we see how it affects their studies back at school. So actually, even when your son is watching you beating their mother, that one will actually affect them. They are watching you do this to their mother or do this to their father. Actually, that will really affect them a lot. And some of them will think this is normal, this is what needs to happen, but and others will think, now that this is all what marriage is all about, I might not want to be in marriage anymore because of what I saw. And another one will say, I will do this because this is what I saw. So actually, our children learn by seeing, not by listening. They see what you do. If they see you kneel down and pray, they will automatically grow into that. If they see you praise God in church, they will grow up into that automatically. If they see you beat their mother, they will grow up into that. That is how wife batterers are created, because they saw what happened. They think it is normal. So actually, parents, we have a great role to play in the growth of our children, and every step actually counts and matters. And so be able to be close to these children and actually listen to them. Listen to them to understand. Don't listen to reply. Listen to understand, and actually they will grow up into very great men and women of God. And actually you are serving will help them also grow up into serving. Maybe my father used to teach Sunday school. My father used to teach Sunday school. And I always believe that it is through that actually he never taught me how to teach the word of God. He never taught me that. But God taught me himself. And I always believe it's because he gave his time to teach Sunday school. And even up to now, he teaches Sunday school. And I never attended his Sunday school class actually, because I lived a little bit far away. I never attended his class. But God, in his own ways, he taught me himself. The Bible says that God will teach, he will teach them. In those days, he will teach them through his Holy Spirit. He will teach them on his own. So actually, I believe through that serving in Sunday school, actually, I was blessed. And I am now a teacher. Though God taught me to be a teacher, and I teach his word maybe because of that. So what you do, how you serve, those children are watching and God is watching and he's going to bless your generation to come. Amen.
Thank you so much. We've been listening to the life story of Denis Chitiavi, all the way from Kakamega He's an IT trainer and a computer teacher in a college. Uh, there was a lot of confusion around his growing up, and out of that confusion, he found purpose. And there was something very important he said: when purpose is not discovered, focus is lost. Concerning parentage, he said, as a parent, be informed because the children we are raising are very much informed. He said, be informed, up your game, be there for your children, listen to understand, not to respond. Listen to your kid. That is new. Listen to understand, not to respond. Listen to understand, not to rebuke. Listen to them. Learn about what they are going through. Be informed as well. That is how you can raise these kids. And he said, be there for your children. Up your game. Wow, this is amazing. Thank you, Dennis, for making yourself available on the show today. I believe the viewers have learned one or two things from your experiences. You have said it doesn't matter the background you come from. What is important is that there is a purpose for which God have created each and every one of us. And I want to leave you on that note today as we end this show, Real Talk with Papa Martins. There is a purpose for which God created you. Regardless of what you are going through right now, regardless of your background, your upbringing, stay focused on that purpose. If you have not discovered it, try to find out why has God allowed these things happening in my life to happen. The moment you understand that, you will be able to stay focused. This thing is said when purpose is not discovered, focus is lost. Let's think about it seriously. And I believe that as we begin to work on ourselves, God will come through for us. Thank you so much for everyone who have been able to tune in. God bless you. And thank you, Denis, for making yourself available. This is Real Talk with Papa Martins. Until I come your way again next time, thank you and God bless you. Have a good evening and a good afternoon, depending on your time zone. Bye bye.